Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Community Church of Chapel Hill, Unitarian Universalist, and this special multi-generational Day of Remembrance service. I am Alexa Adamo Valverde, a member of the Worship Associate Ministry here at the church, and I especially want to welcome any visitors or newcomers to our church and call your attention to the back side of the order of service. Welcome guests and newcomers. A special note for you. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you arrived at this beloved place, you are welcome here. As we continue the reopening during the pandemic, I want to mention a few things to keep in mind. We are masking inside on Sundays and now during this outdoor service as a way of striving to be an inclusive community. After the service, we invite you to gather in the courtyard, a masked optional space for fellowship, and also the area behind the Jones building, which includes the porch, the grassy area, and playground, a space where masking is mandatory. We are not currently passing the offering baskets, so please make your donation online or place your donation in the offering baskets at the exit of the amphitheater on the bench to your left. A coffee hour will take place in person today after this service at 12:15, hosted by Rachel Rose. Please turn off or silence any cell phones during the service to maintain a worshipful experience. And now Reverend Lisa Garcia Sampson will speak about the Share the Plate for the UU Justice Ministry of North Carolina.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing to be here today. This is a magical space. It's always incredible to be at Community Church, but particularly on this day, I'm so grateful to share in this service with you all. So my name is Reverend Lisa Garcia Sampson. I proudly serve as the Executive Director of our UU Justice Ministry here in North Carolina. We used to be called UU Forward Together. Our name is now changed to UU Justice NC. And I have the pleasure of getting to organize UUs, over 5,000 UUs across dozens of congregations across our state to contribute to a transformative movement for justice here in North Carolina. We've been busy this year. This year we have worked hard not only to fight for federal voting rights legislation, we have worked with a partner named All on the Line. They're experts in the redistricting process, and they have equipped over 150 UUs across the state, especially in our congregations that have traditionally experienced racial and political gerrymandering, and equipped UUs to participate in the redistricting process this year. We've also worked for the last 9 months to organize UUs as part of the People's Budget Coalition, working to get Medicaid expansion passed in our state, to extend health care to over 600,000 North Carolinians. That is possible in our budget this month. And we are hopeful that we are going to be able to get that over the finish line if we activate all of the power of North Carolinians across the state who want us to have health care for everyone. Finally, another thing we've done this year is worked with Duke Energy. Not with Duke Energy, but to put pressure on Duke Energy to make sure that they are transitioning to invest in a clean energy future for our state. And we're not expert at any of this work, but we are lucky to work in partnership with folks who can develop sound strategies and broad statewide coalitions. And my job is to help UUs be a part of that movement for justice, a movement that is abundant and imaginative and powerful. And even in any given one of our years, we may not win every battle for each year, but we have a long vision for what we are trying to create as a state, and UUs are a part of that. So next year, quickly I'll say, we've got UU the Vote again. Last year we activated more UUs in North Carolina than ever before in our history. Ever before. We had 650 people across the state folks from Community Church were a part of writing 30,000 postcards, calling 950 hours of phone banking to people all across our state to help people who had been purged from the voter rolls get back on the voter rolls. Marion dyed her hair purple for the cause. It was pretty incredible. We are so grateful to be this month Share the Plate. As an organization that's young and small, we don't get any contributions from our national denomination. We rely on the contributions of UU congregations and individuals in North Carolina to help us grow and to help deepen our impact in North Carolina. So thank you again, and we look forward to activating this church being a part of a statewide movement for justice. Thank you again.
All right, please stand in spirit or body for our opening hymn, number 1003, Where Do We Come From? You'll find it inside your order of service.
You'll notice that there's four parts to the hymn, and the community church singers and the family choir are going to be modeling 4 parts, so you can sing along with your favorite one. The lyrics to the hymns are inside the second page of your order of service and also inside the third page. I think rest is on the second page, and this one called Where Do We Come From is on the third page in the little box with the question mark. Okay.
Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where do we come from? Mystery, mystery, life is a real mystery. Mystery, mystery, life is a real mystery. Where do we go? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we?
Now let's all end on number 3, mystery.
Mystery, mystery, life is a riddle and a mystery.
Song for Autumn by Mary Oliver. In the deep fall, don't you imagine the leaves think how comfortable it will be to touch the earth instead of the nothingness of air and the endless freshets of wind? And don't you think the trees themselves, especially those with mossy, warm caves, begin to think of the birds that will come, 6, a dozen, to sleep inside their bodies? And don't you hear the goldenrod whispering goodbye, the everlasting being crowned with the first tuffets of snow? The pond vanishes, and the white field over which the fox runs so quickly brings out its blue shadows. And the wind pumps its bellows, and at evening especially, the piled firewood shifts a little, longing to be on its way. Come, let us worship together. I invite my children, Ellie and Oliver, to come forward. You will find the words for our chalice lighting in your order of service. If you wish to do so, please join me in reading them. And if any children who know the symbols for the chalice lighting want to come forward and lead our congregation, please do. We light our chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. We are the church of the open mind. We are the church of the loving heart. We are the church of the helping hands.
Doom, 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 doom. Good morning. I'm Marion Hirsch, and I would like to see what's in the Wonder Box. Look how lovely it is. It's amazing. Oh, you can't see it. It's full of beautiful, invisible string. The story I want to tell you today is a story of the invisible string, and it's a story written by Patricia Karsh. One night, the twins, Jeremy and Liza, were sleeping. It was a quiet evening, and then it began to rain. And then after it began to rain, it began to thunder a little, and then it began to thunder a lot. And it woke Jeremy and Liza up. And they jumped out of bed, and they ran to the living room and hopped in their mother's lap because they were so frightened of the noise. And their mother said, "Don't worry, it's just thunder. Go back to bed." And they said, "We want to be with you. We don't want to go back to bed. We want to be right here with you." And she said, "You'll be with me when you're in bed." And they said, "How will that be that we can be together when we're apart?" And she said, "Let me show you something." The kids wiped the sleepy out of their eyes. They're like, "We don't see anything." And their mother said, "When I was just your age, my mother told me about the invisible string. The invisible string is made of love, and it connects all of us who love each other. So when you go to school in the daytime and you're missing me, your love tugs on the string, and I feel it in my heart at work, and I tug, and the love comes back." The kids were like, "Really? Is that how it works? Are we connected to everybody we love by invisible string?" And Mother said, "Yes." And they said, "Are we connected to Jasper the cat? Is she connected to us with an invisible string?" And Mama said, "Yes." And then they said, Liza said, "Am I connected to my best friend Lucy?" And Mama said, "Yes." And then the kids said, "How far does the invisible string go?" And Mama said, "It goes as far as it needs to. It goes as far as love goes." So Jeremy said, "Will it reach to me when I'm in a submarine under the sea?" And Mama said, "Yes, it will go that far." And then they said, would it go to Paris if I were dancing in Paris?" And Mama said, "Yes, it will go to Paris." "And will it go to space?" And Mama said, "Yes, if you're in space, the love goes all the way to space. The invisible string goes all the way to space." And the kids were quiet for a minute, and then Jeremy said, "Does it go all the way to Uncle Brian in heaven?" And Mama said, "Yes, the invisible string goes all the way to Uncle Brian." And then Liza said, "What if I'm angry? Does the invisible string work if I'm angry?" And Mama said, "Yes, if your love is strong, love is stronger than anger, and the invisible string even connects us when we're angry." Kids were very interested in that. And then the mother said, "When you grow up and you have arguments about what movies you're going to watch, or what games you're going to play, or what time it is to go to bed," and the kids were like, Mama laughed. She said, "Now it's time for bed." So she sent the children off to bed, and they fell asleep, and they dreamed about an invisible string that links us all together. It links us to everyone we love, and everyone we love to everyone they love, and everyone they love to everyone they love, and the invisible string connects the whole world together. And what we know is that we're not alone. The end. So what I love about that story is that it reminds me, and I'll bet it reminded you, of our Unitarian Universalist idea of the interdependent web of life of which we are all a part, which connects us. And the other thing I love about this story is that it reminds us that love is greater than death, and that we are connected to everyone who's gone before and their love with an invisible string. Right, Kat?
I'm not Kat. I'm Cruella DeVille, obviously. And I have to tell you that story, it's nice. It's nice to remember people that we miss. But it's also a little bit like this wig. There's a sweet side of remembering, and there's a sad side of remembering, right? That when we remember too much, it can make us feel really sad and overwhelmed. And I think I would like to look in the Wonder Box maybe for that invisible string, because the string connects us, right? And maybe that would help me feel better, since I'm feeling sort of sad about remembering. I could use some invisible string, but it seems that this string is actually visible now. And it seems that this string goes all the way up there. Selden, the owl in the back, do you see the string? Did anybody see this string on the path when they came in? You did. You know, I've seen this once before when I was in a cave. Have you ever been in a cave? No? Cedar's been in a cave. The thing is, if you go into a very big cave and you go very deep inside, it gets extremely, extremely dark. And sometimes it's so dark that you can't find your way out. And that darkness can feel like grief. Grief is a feeling of love when we really miss people, but it can feel dark, like a cave. And because there are no bears here and only one werewolf, we probably don't want to stay in that cave. And we can use our strings to get out of grief. Just like our strings connect us in memory, a string like this you might find in a cave, and it will show you how to get out. And so our strings of remembrance can also be the strings that guide us through grief. And I want you to all remember and be able to take this with you. And so Marian is going to help lead us in a ritual of string and remembrance. Marian found her glasses just in time.
So what we're going to do is we're going to pass baskets down the rows to you, and in those baskets you're going to find string. And what we would like you to do is for each person to take a string and hold it, and then we'll tell you what to do next.
Got tricked in my own object lesson.
So what I would like you to do now that you have your string is cup it in a bowl in your hands and hold it in front of you close to your heart. And I would like you to think about someone who you love, who you have lost. Could be a family member, a friend, a pet. It could be if your life has not been touched by death, it could be a friend who's moved away that you are missing. But someone that you are connected with by the invisible string. And I would like you to think about this person, bring them to mind, bring their beautiful face, bring the funny things they say and do, their talents, the way they make you feel, and hold them, bring them to mind, remember them.
For the next step in this ritual, you'll need a partner. Marion, will you be my partner? Have you ever heard the phrase, tie a string around your finger to remember? Before we all had smartphones, that's how we used to give ourselves notifications. So when you wrap a string around your finger, it's a reminder of the thing you're trying to remember. And now we have our person that we're trying to remember in our string. And so with your partner, we're going to tie that around our finger in a bow.
We can look at that. It's on. It's on.
I see much tying happening, and you can continue tying as we listen to the beautiful music that's to come. And while we listen, I want you to keep remembering from your remembering string.
In the quiet, misty morning, when the moon has gone to bed, when the sparrows stop their singing, and the sky is clear and red, when the summer's east is gleaming, when the corn is past its prime,
Good morning. Someone, I forget who, said that a church is a community of memory and hope. A community of memory and hope. What does that mean? Wonder who here has ever been to a wedding? A lot of people have been to a wedding. Well, a wedding is when people love each other and want to get married. Then we have a celebration where the whole community comes together to celebrate their love and to celebrate all of our hopes, all of their hopes as a couple. How many people have ever been to a child dedication? Child dedication. We do those in church sometimes when there is a new baby in the community. We gather together as a community to welcome and to celebrate the new baby and to dream about all of the hopes for this new child's life. How many people have ever been to, in the spring, either Rising Up or the Coming of Age service? Rising Up or Coming of Age, that's when we come together to celebrate the young people in our church and all the hope we have for them as they continue to grow. And how many people have ever been to a memorial service or a funeral? And that is a little bit different. Now we come together to remember. It's a service of remembering, and that's often what we do at memorial services is we tell stories about the person who has died, and we tell stories and share our memories of them to help us to remember that person that we hold in our hearts. And so this morning, this is what our service is. It is a service of remembering, not for a particular person, but rather for all of us who may know somebody in our lives. It may be a family member, a grandparent, maybe a uncle or a cousin or a brother or a sister. It may be a neighbor or a teacher or even a hero, somebody we may not have even known, but who touched our lives. And we come together as a community of memory to remember well, to tie that invisible string or visible string around our fingers to help us in remembering. And so what we're going to do together is we're going to invite into a time of meditation. We're going to have a moment to be still and to listen. And then when I say it is time, I invite you, if there was a particular person you were thinking of, or a pet, or anyone that you were thinking of when you tied that string on your finger, you can speak that name, speak it nice and loud through your mask. And it's okay if names all come out at the same time, because just like Kat said, and just like Marian said, we are all connected, and there is a great big invisible string connecting all of us. And so even names when they're spoken at the same time. So I invite us to take a moment. When I meditate, I like to stretch my feet down towards the floor. You don't have to. And sometimes I like to sit up a little straighter than I normally sit. And I like to take a deep breath and pay attention to my breathing. We come into this time of memory, each of us remembering those we love, family and friends and neighbors. This gift of memory is a blessing. Memories are blessings that bring memories to our hearts, filling our hearts with warmth and with joy, as well as with sadness mixed with joy. That's okay too. We remember not only the people who we may have lost, whether we lost them recently or a long time ago, But we also remember in this time that we're part of a community, and so we give thanks. We give thanks for each person who's reached out with a kind word, or a hug, or a card, or a casserole, when we are sad. In this time of memory, I invite you to call forth the name of someone you are remembering this morning. Let those names be spoken out. Memory is a joy and a blessing. Let us be thankful for the memories we hold. And let us sing our closing song of the morning.
Once again, you'll see the words to this in the inside page, second page, called breaths. And whenever you see the three little dots after, so listen more often to things than to beings, you go back to the beginning and sing the words of the chorus. Listen more often to things than to beings, and remember, why don't we practice the part that goes ah, whoosh, ah, whoosh. You all just try that a couple times? Ready? And ah, whoosh, ah, whoosh, ah, whoosh. Whoosh. Good, we'll do that a whole bunch of times.
More often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings. 'Tis the ancestors' breath when the fire's voice is heard. 'Tis the ancestors' breath in the voice of the waters. Ah, whoosh, ah, whoosh. Soldiers of God have never, never left. The dead are not under the earth. They are in the rustling trees. They are in the groaning woods. They are in the crying grass. They are in the moaning rocks. The dead are not under the earth. So listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings. 'Tis the ancestors' breath when the fire's voice is heard. 'Tis the ancestors' breath in the voice of the waters. Ah, whoosh, ah, whoosh. Never, never left. The dead are not under the living. They are in the woman's breast. They are in the wailing child. They are with us in our homes. They are with us in this crowd. The dead are not under the living. Listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings. 'Tis the ancestors' breath when the fire's voice is heard. 'Tis the ancestors' breath in the voice of the waters.
Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. One more time. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
Please stand in body or spirit. The words for extinguishing the chalice are in your order of service Please join me if you wish to do so. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. For our closing song, Shalom, please join hands or cross your hands over your hearts to indicate you'd rather social distance. And the words are also in your order of service.